Suzanne, how important is this site to the North Sydney community?
I think it's extraordinarily important, both to the narrow North Sydney community, but also the wider, the outer reaches. This is one of the last remnant properties that has been basically untouched for 100 years. The gift of this property was an extraordinary act on behalf of one individual, and he, from my understanding of the family, saw this gift of his land remaining in perpetuity and remaining part of the North Sydney community. We have a working community just up the road. They're 3-4 minutes walk from the grounds of Graythwaite, and yet at the moment they have no park where they can go and sit and have their lunch or do a jog around or just generally chill out on a revolting day at work and de-stress their day. This park is the lungs of North Sydney, and if you ask people if we were prepared to sell off Hyde Park in the CBD, everybody would say no. Yet here we have a site where we have 45 Moreton Bay figs. We have king parrots flying in. We have wildlife, extraordinary amount of wildlife, and some amazing historic features. And yet the state government's simply going to sell off the site for what appears to be a grab for cash.
What do you think Sir Thomas Gibbs would say today if he knew his beautiful North Sydney site would be going?
I think he'd be horrified. I think he'd be horrified at the state that the house has been let to deteriorate to. The state government has not spent a single dollar on maintenance effectively on this property in the last 10 years. The roof is leaking. We've requested several times to see if we could put tarpaulins on the roof to stop the water damage, and we've been refused. I think Thomas Gibbs would be horrified that a gift that he left with such compassion has been literally just left to go rack and ruin, and now when it's going to cost more for the government to maintain, they just want to flog it off to balance their budget. We're going to lose an asset. We're not gaining any extra rehabilitation beds under this proposal by the state government. All they are doing is moving one bunch of beds to another site in the city. It just beggars belief that we're going to lose such an extraordinary asset. This is one of my favourite spots with the trees and the canopy. It's a rainforest in the heart of North Sydney. People wouldn't believe that less than 3 minutes from the CBD we have a rainforest. The stand of giant bamboo that dates back to the very early days of Graythwaite. So we estimate it to be around 140 years of age. This is one of the items at Graythwaite that will be at risk with the decision of the court this week. Potentially this is an area that will have buildings surrounding it, and you'll lose the heritage nature of this site. Having a stand of giant bamboo well over 120 years old is so rare in this community. It's got to be one of the features of this site. I can't think of another city in the world where you have a rainforest in spitting distance of the CBD. To have ponds and tadpoles and frogs still existing side by side with a major commercial area is just unknown, and we're going to lose all of that. At a time of global warming and the environment becoming more and more prominent, we're losing a site that we can never replace. We look back on our ancestors of dedicating Hyde Park and various other parklands, which have given the city a green sense. Sydney is a green city. To lose this site for what is a very small amount of money in a government budget, $16 million, it's just lunacy.
And the fight to save the site will continue?
Absolutely. We've struggled for 10 years to campaign to save this site. We're not giving up now. To give up would be going against the wishes, I think, of Sir Thomas Gibbs and what he wanted for this site. It goes against the interests of the next generation. You can never get back these lungs, and what we would lose is just far too great. The result of the court decision